Have you ever heard of a civilization with millions of people just out vanishing? Not in a fantasy novel, but right here on Earth. Today, we're diving into one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries, the disappearance of the Indus Valley civilization. Picture this: over 4,000 years ago, while the Egyptians were building their pyramids, a vast and sophisticated civilization flourished in what is now Pakistan and northwest India. This wasn't some small collection of villages. It was a sprawling society, larger than ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia combined. They were masters of urban planning, with cities like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa featuring grid-like streets, advanced drainage systems, and multi-story brick houses. They had a unique, undeciphered script, standardized weights and measures, and traded with distant lands like Mesopotamia. For nearly 1,000 years, they thrived, a beacon of innovation and order. And then, around 1900 BC, something strange started to happen. The once bustling cities began to decline. The quality of construction faltered, trade networks withered. People started abandoning these magnificent urban centers, seemingly drifting away into the countryside. By 1300 BC, the great cities were empty, their streets silent, their script forgotten. The Indus Valley civilization, one of the three earliest civilizations of the Old World, had effectively disappeared from history, only to be rediscovered by archaeologists in the 1920s. So, what happened? Where did millions of people go? This is the question that has baffled historians and archaeologists for a century. There was no single, obvious catastrophe. The cities weren't burned to the ground in a great war, nor were they buried by a volcanic eruption like Pompeii. The end was slow, gradual, and deeply mysterious. Let's explore the leading theories. One of the oldest and most dramatic theories is invasion. The idea, proposed by archaeologist Mortimer Wheeler in the mid-20th century, was that nomadic Aryan tribes swept down from the north, conquering the peaceful Indus people. He pointed to some skeletons found in the streets of Mohenjo-daro as evidence of a final, violent massacre. It's a compelling story, right? A clash of civilizations. But modern archaeology has largely debunked this theory. The skeletal evidence is flimsy at best. There are no signs of a large-scale battle, no layers of ash from widespread destruction, and no weapons caches. A weaker summer monsoon would mean less rain for crops, while a shift in winter rains could disrupt the entire agricultural cycle. Imagine your primary source of food and water slowly disappearing. It wouldn't cause a sudden collapse, but it would create immense pressure over generations. This slow environmental shift perfectly matches the archaeological evidence of a gradual decline and urbanization. The great cities were simply no longer sustainable. But even the climate change theory has its complexities. Was it the only factor? Some researchers believe disease played a major role. Large, densely populated cities without modern sanitation can be breeding grounds for epidemics. Analysis of ancient remains has suggested the presence of infectious diseases like leprosy and tuberculosis. A widespread epidemic, or a series of them, could have decimated the population, weakened the social structure, and contributed to the abandonment of the cities. It's possible that as the climate worsened and food became scarcer, people became more vulnerable to disease, creating a deadly combination of factors. Then there's the economic angle. The Indus civilization was a major trading power. They exported goods like cotton textiles, beads, and pottery. What if their trade routes were disrupted? We know their trade with Mesopotamia declined around the same time the civilization began to falter. Perhaps political instability in other regions or a shift in global trade dynamics cut off a vital source of wealth and resources. The decline of this economic engine could have crippled the urban elite and the intricate system they managed, leading to a breakdown in civic order. Without the economic glue holding these complex cities together, they may have simply fallen apart. So we have several compelling culprits: a shifting climate, the ravages of disease, and economic collapse. The most likely answer is that it wasn't just one of these things, but a perfect storm of all of them. Imagine a society already struggling with unpredictable monsoons and failing crops. Then, a new disease sweeps through the weakened population. On top of that, their main trading partners stop buying their goods. The system just couldn't handle that much stress. It's a domino effect. The failure of one part of their society put pressure on the others, leading to a slow, cascading collapse. What's truly fascinating is what happened next. The people didn't just die out. The disappearance of the civilization was more of a transformation. As the big cities emptied, a new pattern of smaller, more localized agricultural villages emerged. The cultural legacy of the Indus people lived on. Some scholars argue that elements of their religion, artistic motifs, and even technologies were absorbed into the later cultures that rose in the Indian subcontinent. Things like the worship of mother goddesses, certain yoga-like postures seen on their seals, and their water management techniques may have influenced the development of later Indian traditions, including Hinduism. So, in a way, the Indus Valley civilization never truly vanished. It just changed, its people and ideas melting back into the landscape and becoming part of the foundation for the next chapter of South Asian history. The story isn't over. Archaeologists are still digging, and new technologies are giving us incredible insights. Genetic analysis of ancient remains is helping us understand who these people were and where they went. Advanced satellite imaging is helping us map the courses of ancient rivers, confirming how environmental changes reshaped the land. And one of the biggest holy grails remains: deciphering their script. Locked away in those beautiful, cryptic symbols on their seals is their language, their stories, their history, told in their own words. If we can ever crack that code, it will be like hearing voices from a lost world, finally solving the last pieces of this incredible puzzle. The fall of the Indus Valley civilization is a powerful reminder. It shows us that even the most advanced and powerful societies are vulnerable. It's a 4,000-year-old lesson in the importance of environmental sustainability, social resilience, and the delicate balance that keeps a civilization alive. What we learn from their disappearance could be a vital lesson for our own future. Thanks for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this mystery as fascinating as I do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the greatest puzzles of history. Let me know in the comments which ancient mystery you'd like us to explore next. See you in the next video.